Between the times when the oceans drank Atlantis and the rise of the sons of Ares, there was an age undreamed of, and unto this Conan, destined to bear the jewel crown of Aquilonia on a troubled brow. It is I, his chronicler, who alone can tell you of his saga. Let me tell you of the days of high adventure. Bum 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 bum. I don't know if there has ever been a start of a movie that has been as awesome as that one. When that first piece of music hits and the sword is made, and you have maybe one of the most awesome title sequences I have ever seen. I get just so hyped every single time I see it. But is the rest of the movie as good as that beginning? Let's find out. This is Conan the Barbarian, the original. So Conan lives in this small remote village. One day, a mysterious group of men attacks them, led by Thulsa Doom, aka James Earl Jones. They have this kind of a cult thing going on with the two snakes that comes together, and they basically straight up murders everybody, but keeps the children for some reason. By the way, I love the fact that Thulsa Doom has these dogs with spikes on them that comes to wreck shit. That's fucking awesome. The children taken from this village get strapped to this large contraption that possibly grains, seeds or something like that. I don't know what it does, and probably neither does the filmmakers. But for some reason, pushing this wheel for a serious amount of time creates 1982 Arnold, complete with the Arnold body and all that stuff. And after a while he becomes a pit fighter and just murders the hell out of every opponent that stands before him. But then he is released from this gladiatorial duties, and now he's off to try to find Thulsa Doom and his snake cult and get his revenge eventually. To be fair, it takes a serious amount of time before the actual plot of the movie decides to roll around. But in this case, I really don't care. You can compare this one a little bit to a movie like The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. That it takes a serious amount of time before we're really, getting into finding the grave and the gold and all that stuff. We have maybe an hour of just people doing stuff, but it doesn't matter because it is so fantastic and it is so much character building. I'm not saying that this movie is some kind of an ingenious character building masterpiece, but I really don't care about that much. I'm just happy about seeing characters I like doing stuff. On the way he also meets Subotai and Valeria, with whom he's going to form a deep relationship. As deep as a Conan the Barbarian movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, where he doesn't say that much, can muster, but it's pretty deep for what they're going for. James Earl Jones is such a cool villain, and he has such a presence about him. The fact that he doesn't have that much screen time should make me, very cross and, well, they're another villain squandered by too little screen time, but it really doesn't matter in this case. This is one of the rare cases where less is more, because when he actually, starts doing shit, then it feels that much more importance. There are so many things I love about this movie, but one thing stands head and shoulders above everything. Everything in the entirety of movie history. The soundtrack. There are soundtracks. There are good soundtracks. There are fantastic soundtracks. And then there is this. From start to finish, there is not a single movie that has ever been made that I have seen that has a more memorable and more fantastic soundtrack than this one. The closest movie I can think of is probably the Lord of the Rings movies. Hey, dumb fuck, you forgot about Blade Runner. Blade Runner is fucking awesome. Not as good as this one, but pretty close. That is the closest thing when it comes to the variety of the thing and how much it adds to the atmosphere and the feeling of the movie. This movie is, well, out of this world when it comes to that. There's so many fantastic sequences that is helped by the music and the choirs and the brass horns, the drums and all that stuff. It is quite amazing. I will do a little bit of more of a thing with that in my extended review, because lo and behold, there's going to be an extended review for this one. Some people will be a little restless because there are so many sequences that doesn't have any dialogue and you don't know what they're saying, but you have this music that gives you the story anyway. Some of the special effects does look a little hokey, but it kind of meshes with the style that they're going for. The only really negative thing I'll say about this movie is that this movie has a bit of a pacing issue, because there is a section of this movie where there is not that much happening. There's a lot of build-up, but there isn't that much of a payoff. And then we have this very long stretch of time where we have all this hokey stuff with the ghost that comes to take Conan's soul away, and Berman going, waves them away. It looks bad. I just wished that movie could have been altered or cut or changed somehow, because it doesn't really add to that much of the story, in my opinion. People probably have other opinions, or they don't. That entire sequence was made long before it had the technical ability to do so. But the sets, the massive Thulsa Doom set, it is so impressive, and I kind of wish that the majority of the fantastic finale would have taken place, there fighting, on the steps of that massive structure, but we don't, and that's a little bit of a shame. But if they would have done that, and if they would have spliced one good action sequence somewhere in the second act of this movie, I would straight up think this could have been one of the greatest movies of the entire 1980s, perhaps of the entire century. But alas, we don't. This movie is sort of tailor-made for me in so many ways. I just love Arnold so much, and I love the Conan character so much, and I love the style they have so much, and the blood is just looking fantastic, and the music, the action sequences, and the third act, oh my sweet Jesus. Some people can get a little restless towards when the third act is gonna kick in, but then they'll do it mega style. And the fantastic finale, the fantastic final fight in the mounds, that is such great fun, and it is such bloody violence that I have a very soft spot for. I just wish more movies could look like this when doing great fantasy in this sort of way. They just stack action sequence upon action sequence and fantastic moment upon fantastic moment, and it is just so fantastic when Arnold starts pushing the massive cauldron with all the humans that they're cooking. And I know that we had cannibals that's also in this movie, and we have dun 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 starting playing. Yeah, you go yeah, and it is such an adrenaline filled moment, and there are so many adrenaline filled action sequences in this one that you're getting, oh my god, more please. And we have a fantastic villain. Thulsa Doom doesn't have that much screen time, to be fair, but the moments they have with him, they uses them to the absolute extent. I love him so much in this movie, and the third act and the finale is so damn great that whatever wrong they have been doing, previously, it's all forgiven. I think this is an absolutely stacked movie. It's a great fantasy movie. It's fantastic cinematography. As I said, a fantastic music. And I think Arnold is good in this one. I think he doesn't speak that much. Arnold has always been best when he is doing movies where he doesn't speak too much and more have facial expressions to tell the story. I think this is one of the movies that he was absolutely perfect for. And it's a little shame that he didn't do more of these, but we'll get to why in the extended edition, shall we? This is an almost perfect fantasy movie. It has so much amazing stuff in it, and I'm very happy to give it 94 points. The ultra strong last third act of it seals the deal. And the atmosphere, the music, and Arnold's absolute monster presence gives this movie the edge it needs. It's not for everybody, I know that. But to me, this is an almost pitch perfect fantasy movie. I'll see you next time from, well, so-and-so reviewing, well, such and such. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.